Myth. Aside from physical differences, men and women are pretty much the same. Truth. There are differences, plenty of them. When I went to Princeton, my professors taught me sexism is the reason that more men succeed in science, business, and sports. Think about it. For years, piggish men forbade women to work, vote, or own property. Those laws are gone, but their evil effects are not. Blatant sex discrimination still keeps some women from succeeding. Since men and women are equal, said the gender equality crowd, it's not natural for women to spend more time nurturing children, or for more men to pursue sports. This disproportion is a cultural artifact, they said, and we'll achieve total equality if we just stop being sexist. I believed it, but it was nonsense. And now plenty of evidence says it's nonsense. June Reinisch, former director of the Kinsey Institute at Indiana University, was one of many researchers who told us some gender differences are clearly innate. Even newborns behave differently, she told me. Males react more than females. If you give a little puff of air on their stomach, they are much more likely to startle than females. Female infants, she said, have a distinctly rhythmic way of using their mouths. They suck on their tongues and move their lips more than males do. Those infants are not conforming to society's preconceived gender roles. They were just born different. Now, this is not a bad thing. It doesn't mean a woman cannot be a CEO or an engineer, and that a man cannot nurture children or teach school. It just means more men may like engineering, and more women may want to stay at home with the kids. More men may be willing to sacrifice family for money, and women may have better verbal skills. Difference doesn't mean one is better. Considering men's strength and spatial skills, it's all right that most architects and athletes are men, as long as government doesn't forbid women to participate. And because of women's superior verbal and people skills, and there's plenty of research supporting that, it's okay that most teachers, psychologists, pharmacists, and real estate agents are women. Let's allow everyone to do what he or she does best. It's better to act on the basis of what's true rather than someone's idea of what should be true. And the truth is, we're different. No, say the gender equality feminists. The cultural establishment is so determined to see women as a class of persecuted victims under constant threat of subjugation, they refuse to acknowledge any difference between the sexes, or even to open their minds to evidence of gender difference. They don't even want them talked about. When Lawrence Summers, the president of Harvard, spoke at an academic conference on women and minorities, he suggested that fewer women than men attain top positions in science because of three things: discrimination, demands of family life, or innate differences between men and women. He called for more research. Big deal. It's obviously true. But the fury. A professor of biology from MIT walked out. The New York Times ran endless stories on how upset women were about Summers' remarks. Harvard faculty members denounced Summers for saying what he said, and Summers then apologized. Again and again he apologized for what he said. This is disgusting, suffocating, censorship by intimidation. And it's sad when the president of America's oldest institution of higher learning endorses the intimidation by apologizing. I understand how he felt. I've spent my career in the mainstream media. When everybody around you believes, say, that we obviously need national health care, and capitalism does more harm than good, and a glass ceiling keeps women from advancing, it's hard to keep fighting about it. It's easier to just shut up. But university presidents shouldn't shut up, and Summers certainly should not have apologized. He later resigned. Outside academia and elite fuss budget circles, gender differences are simply fact. It's why in child custody cases, judges favor mothers. They assume a mother's custody is usually best for the kids. Evolution, experience, and multiple studies suggest women put in more parenting time and often define their relationships through intimacy and care. Now that men are complaining that women are unfairly favored in custody battles, we have an odd partnership. Men's rights advocates agreeing with feminists like Gloria Steinem, who say men and women are exactly equal. I assumed that Steinem, who was once one of my heroes, wouldn't deny all the new gender science. I thought she'd acknowledge that there are some differences. I was wrong. When I sat down with her, it was a chilly interview. After she denied that men have more interest in combat and sports and that men are more aggressive and break more laws, I tried the flip side, suggesting women have biological advantages. Aren't women in general better nurturers?
No. Next question.
How absurd to just deny it. It's even more destructive to use the power of government to try to force differences to disappear. Feminist lawyer Gloria Allred told me, where there are differences, she will sue until women win. Maybe women are biologically different. Why sue me because of that? We're all paying for your lawsuits.
Women have a right to be angry. They have a right to go to court, to vindicate their rights. They have a right to get elected to public office, to make the public policy so that they will not be deprived of their rights.
And if they don't get elected, you're going to file a suit demanding they be elected?
I think we should do each and every act which is necessary and appropriate to protect our rights and the rights of our daughters.
Wow. I want my daughter's rights protected too, but election results must be gender equal? She will sue if women lose an election? The equality lawyers want to coerce people to behave the way they and the social engineers say we should. They're entitled to promote their dumb ideas, but it's unfortunate that because they have law degrees, they get to use force. So we have to help pay for their vision. These days, that vision has little to do with equality of opportunity, but everything to do with equality of results.